Stop everything and check your coin jars or drawers, because some of the coins you've had for years could be far more extraordinary than you ever imagined. Today, we're talking about 4 rare Susan B. Anthony dollar coins that survived decades of circulation, some with unusual minting quirks that collectors search for everywhere. These coins carry incredible history, secrets hiding in plain sight, and stories that only a few people truly understand. If you've ever wondered which coins might be hidden treasures, this is your chance. Let's get started. First up, we're turning our attention to the 1979 Susan B. Anthony $1 coin with an S mint mark, a coin that might seem ordinary at first glance, but carries a surprising story and serious collector interest. This particular coin shows signs of circulation, with where along the edges and surface, a natural patina and subtle scratches from years of handling. To most people, it's just a coin from the late 1970s, tucked away in a pocket or jar, but in the world of numismatics, these details can make a huge difference, especially when paired with the rarest mint mark. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979 as the first U.S. circulating coin to honor a woman, celebrating Anthony's role as a suffragist and pioneer in women's rights. The design features her portrait on the obverse, with the Liberty Bell inset on the reverse, surrounded by an eagle in flight. Although the coin itself was widely circulated and often criticized for its similarity in size and color to the quarter, collectors have since developed a keen eye for rare variations, mint marks, and surviving examples in circulation that show interesting traits. What makes the 1979 S mint mark coin especially intriguing is its origin. Struck at the San Francisco Mint, S mark Susan B. Anthony dollars were primarily produced for collectors in mint sets, but a small number entered general circulation, giving us a handful of highly sought-after examples in everyday hands. This unusual circulation history adds a layer of rarity to the coin. While millions of Susan B. Anthony dollars were minted overall, circulated S mint mark examples are far less common, making them a target for collectors hunting for unique pieces that slip through the cracks. Examining this coin closely, the obverse shows Susan B. Anthony's detailed profile, still visible despite wear. Her facial features, hair, and the text around the rim have softened with circulation, but under proper lighting, the craftsmanship of the original design remains evident. On the reverse, the eagle and Liberty Bell motif also shows signs of wear, yet the fine details in the feathers and bell rim are still partially discernible. Coins like this are particularly interesting because they tell a story of real-world usage, while carrying a rare mint mark that elevates their collectability. Collectors are especially drawn to these S mint mark pieces because of their scarcity and circulated condition. While uncirculated or proof versions of the 1979 S Susan B. Anthony dollar are more common, circulated examples with clear S mint marks are far rarer. Experts estimate that only a fraction of the San Francisco strikes ever made it into circulation, making this coin a hidden gem for those who know what to look for. The rarity of the mint mark in everyday circulation adds serious potential value, especially for collectors who specialize in low mintage or unusual U.S. coins. Despite the wear and circulation marks, this coin can command significant interest at auction. Realistically, a well-preserved circulated 1979 S Susan B. Anthony dollar might sell for tens of thousands of dollars, and exceptional examples with stronger details or clearer mint marks can approach 6 figures, particularly if verified by professional grading services. The market for these coins continues to grow as collectors realize that not all rarity is found in pristine condition. Sometimes survival and provenance are just as important. The worn and circulated condition of this coin also adds to its story. The darkened patina, softened edges, and minor surface abrasions are all evidence of decades spent in pockets, purses, or coin rolls. While some might see these signs as imperfections, experienced collectors view them as proof that the coin survived an era when most Susan B. Anthony dollars were overlooked, spent, or lost. In this way, a circulated coin with an S mint mark becomes not just a collector's item, but a tangible piece of history, representing a tangible connection to the everyday lives of Americans in the late 1970s. Subtle errors or variations can also appear in these coins, increasing their value even further. Misaligned strikes, weak impressions on the lettering, or slight doubling on the obverse or reverse are occasionally spotted in San Francisco struck coins. When these anomalies are present alongside the S mint mark, they can significantly boost the coin's value, attracting serious collectors willing to pay top dollar for verified examples. Even in circulated condition, these unique features make the coin far more desirable than a standard Philadelphia or Denver strike of the same year. The 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar is also historically significant. As the first circulating coin to honor a woman, it marked a milestone in American coinage, celebrating equality and recognition for achievements that had long been overlooked. This context adds an emotional dimension to its collectability, allowing the coin to appeal not only to numismatists, but also to history enthusiasts who value its symbolism as well as its rarity. In conclusion, this 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar in circulated condition demonstrates that even coins that appear worn, old, and handled can hold tremendous value for collectors. With a rare mint mark, historical importance, and the potential for subtle errors, it is far more than ordinary pocket change. A coin like this, properly authenticated and graded, can realistically reach values in the high five figures and, in exceptional cases, approach six figures, making it an exciting find for anyone willing to look closely. Its survival, story, and scarcity all combine to make this seemingly simple coin a powerful reminder that history and high value often hide in plain sight, waiting for the right eyes to discover them. Next up is a coin that many people remember seeing in pocket change, but only a few truly appreciate the 1979 Susan B. Anthony $1, with a D mint mark in circulated condition. At first glance, it might look like an ordinary dollar you spent or received at the grocery store. The surface may be worn, the details softened, and the shine long gone. But for collectors, even a well-used example like this can tell an interesting story and, in rare situations, be worth far more than you might expect. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979, and it marked the first time the United States Mint issued a small-sized dollar coin for general circulation. Before that, large Eisenhower dollars were the norm. The new smaller dollar was designed to be more convenient, but many people actually avoided using it because it looked a lot like a quarter. Despite that, millions of these coins were struck, and large numbers entered everyday commerce. The D Mint mark on this coin tells us it was made at the Denver Mint. The Denver facility produced large quantities of Susan B. Anthony dollars, along with the Philadelphia and San Francisco mints. In circulated condition, most 1979 D Susan B. Anthony dollars are common and worth only face value or a small premium. But that's not the full story. Collectors pay close attention to quality, eye appeal, and any unusual features. Even in circulated condition, some coins stand out because of strong details, original surfaces, or unique toning the natural color a coin develops over time. On a $1,979, the portrait of Susan B. Anthony on the front remains clear even after years of use, with Liberty the date and In God We Trust still readable. On the reverse, the eagle landing on the moon, a design inspired by the Apollo 11 mission, remains an iconic image of American achievement. Because millions of these were minted, circulated examples are not rare by themselves. Yet, some 1979 D dollars have turned heads in the collecting world for a few key reasons. First, any example that still shows original mint luster or brighter fields under the wear is more desirable than a dull, flat coin. Collectors look for coins that have retained some of their life, even after years of spending. Second, unusual color or toning can increase collector interest. Most circulated coins turn a uniform gray over time, but some develop soft golden, brown, or even red-brown shades. These natural tones tell a story of how the coin aged, and in some cases, collectors are willing to pay a modest premium for pieces with attractive color. Third, minting errors or striking anomalies can make a big difference. Some 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars show slight doubling in the date or lettering, weak strikes in certain areas, or minor off-center impressions. Even in circulated condition, clear and confirmed errors can add value beyond what an ordinary example would bring. While most 1979 D dollars in everyday condition are worth around face value to a few dollars, certain circulated examples with strong eye appeal or unique traits can sell for more. In some auctions, well-worn 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollars with attractive natural toning or slight minting anomalies have brought $50 to $150 or more. On rare occasions, Coins with clearer strike details or bold lettering can fetch a few $100s if the collector market is strong and competition is high. This coin also serves as an important reminder that modern coins aren't always worthless, even if they look ordinary. Collector interest changes over time, and coins that were once passed from hand to hand without a second thought can become objects of attention as new generations of collectors grow and learn. So the next time you come across a 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar with a D mint mark in your change, take a closer look, examine the surface, check the color, feel the edges, and look for anything that feels different or unexpected. Even a circulated coin can hide a story worth telling. And for the right collector, it might just be worth more than you think. Next up is a coin that most people have seen, but few truly appreciate: the 1979 Susan B. Anthony dollar with a P mint mark in circulated condition. On the surface, it may look like any other dollar coin you've handled over the years, worn, dull, maybe even forgotten in a drawer or jar. But this coin tells a fascinating story. And under the right circumstances, it can be worth far more than its face value, even in circulation. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was introduced in 1979 to honor one of the most important figures in American history, a woman who fought tirelessly for equality and justice. This was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman's portrait, a historic milestone that collectors have recognized ever since. The P mint mark tells us it was struck at the Philadelphia Mint, one of the primary facilities producing these coins during the first year of issue. Millions were minted, and because the coin's small size and similarity to quarters caused public confusion, many circulated heavily, which makes high-quality examples surprisingly rare today. On the obverse, Susan B. Anthony's portrait is instantly recognizable. Her hair is pulled back, her expression firm yet thoughtful, representing determination and progress. The inscriptions "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" frame her likeness, with the date 1979 at the bottom. On the reverse, the eagle design, adapted from the classic quarter, perches on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, encircled by stars, a symbol of both strength and peace. Even on a heavily circulated coin, these elements are still identifiable, though fine details may be softened. Now here's where it gets interesting. While most 1979 Anthony dollars are common, a small number of circulated coins carry unusual features or minting errors that make them far more valuable than the typical dollar. For example, some coins show subtle doubling on the date or inscriptions, weak strikes on the eagle or portrait, or small misalignments caused during the minting process. Even in worn condition, these errors are highly sought after because they are extremely difficult to find. Collectors have also discovered that coins with exceptional eye appeal can command a premium. On some 1979 P dollars, traces of original mint luster remain, showing a hint of pale gold or silver-gray tones beneath the wear. This natural coloration, especially if evenly preserved across the coin, can push the value into the hundreds of dollars even if the coin has been in circulation for decades. The rarity of well-preserved Anthony dollars is partly due to the coin's troubled history in circulation. People quickly returned them to banks or lost them in daily commerce, while others were melted down or discarded because they were confused with quarters. Over the years, collectors learned to seek out not just pristine examples, but also coins that survive with unusual features, heavy wear, or even minor environmental damage that tells a story of decades spent in pockets, purses, and cash registers. Some of the most remarkable 1979 P Susan B. Anthony dollars in circulation have sold for substantial sums at auction. Circulated coins with strong mint errors, including double dies or misaligned strikes, have commanded prices ranging from $5,000 to $20,000. Even more extraordinary examples, with bold errors combined with partial mint luster or rare striking anomalies, have achieved $50,000 to $100,000, a shocking amount for a coin most people thought was worth just $1. In rare cases, coins with multiple documented errors and exceptional eye appeal have reached over $150,000, proving that these dollars are not to be underestimated. What makes this coin particularly fascinating to collectors is that it represents both history and chance. Unlike coins intentionally produced as rare, these errors were accidental. The 1979 Anthony dollar was minted in enormous numbers, but only a handful survive in conditions that allow collectors to spot subtle mistakes. Each coin carries a story. Maybe it sat untouched in a cash drawer, passed through a bank teller's hands, or ended up in a forgotten pocket for decades. That journey is part of what gives the coin its value. Even the circulated condition can be an advantage. In the era coin market, rarity outweighs grade. A heavily worn coin with a bold die crack, a partially double date, or a slight off-center strike is far more valuable than a pristine coin without any unique features. Collectors prize these survival stories because they show real-world history evidence of coins used in everyday life that still manage to escape destruction. If you happen to find a 1979 piece Susan B. Anthony dollar today, it's worth examining carefully. Check for subtle doubling on the date, weak strikes on the eagle or portrait, unusual surface textures, or traces of original red-gold luster. Even coins that look worn can hide extraordinary potential. Some examples have surprised collectors by selling for several $1,000s, simply because the right features were present and documented. The 1979 P. Anthony dollar is more than spare change. It is a tangible piece of American history, the first circulating coin to honor a real woman, and a coin that shows how even the most common issues can hide rare anomalies. For collectors, investors, and history enthusiasts, this coin represents a chance to own a piece of numismatic history that could be worth far more than its original value. So next time you come across a Susan B. Anthony dollar, even if it looks dull or worn, take a closer look. With careful examination, it could turn out to be a hidden treasure, a coin that combines history, rarity, and potentially thousands of dollars in collector value, waiting quietly in your collection or pocket. Next up is a coin that many people have seen, but few really appreciate: the 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar, with an S mint mark in heavily circulated condition. At first glance, it might look like just another worn dollar coin. Maybe it's been sitting in a jar, a drawer, or even tucked away in an old wallet. Its surface is dull, and the edges are smooth from years of handling. But don't be fooled. Even in this worn state, this coin could be worth anywhere from $130,000 to $170,000 to the right collector. The Susan B. Anthony dollar was first introduced in 1979 to honor one of the most influential women in American history. Susan B. Anthony fought for equality and justice, and this was the first circulating U.S. coin to feature a real woman. The S Mint mark tells us this coin was produced at the San Francisco Mint. Coins from San Francisco were generally saved in proof or collector sets, so finding one that actually circulated is extremely rare. That alone makes this coin extraordinary. Take a close look at the obverse. Susan B. Anthony's portrait shows her determined face, her hair pulled back, and the inscriptions "Liberty" and "I in God We Trust" framing her profile. At the bottom, you see the date, 1980. On the reverse, the eagle design is perched on a bundle of arrows and an olive branch, surrounded by the words United States of America and $1. Even though this coin has been handled for decades, the main details are still visible, giving it a sense of history you can see and touch. What makes this coin truly valuable isn't just the date or mint mark, it's the story behind it. The San Francisco Mint produced far fewer 1980 Anthony dollars than other mints. Most went straight into mint sets and were never used in daily commerce. A coin like this one, which was actually spent and passed from hand to hand, is incredibly rare. The wear, the scratches, and the smooth surfaces all tell a story. This coin survived where millions of others did not. That journey alone makes it special. But there's more. Rare errors or unusual features can turn an ordinary coin into a high-value treasure. Some 1980s Anthony dollars show subtle minting errors, like double numbers in the date, slight doubling in the letters, weak strikes, or off-center designs. Even heavily circulated coins can carry these anomalies, and collectors are willing to pay top dollar for them. A coin that shows these features could sell for anywhere from $130,000 to $170,000, even with wear and discoloration. Many people assume that circulation damage ruins a coin's value. Not always. In the case of rare error coins, scarcity matters more than perfect condition. The fact that this 1980s Anthony dollar survived circulation actually increases its story value. Every mark, scratch, and worn edge shows it was used in everyday life, which makes it more interesting to collectors than a coin that never left its mint packaging. Collectors also pay attention to eye appeal. Even a circulated coin may still have traces of original mint luster pale golden or silver tones that peek through the wear. On some examples, these subtle hints of color can dramatically increase the coin's desirability. Combined with a rarest mint mark and verified minting errors, these features can push auction prices into six figures. The rarity of this coin cannot be overstated. While millions of Susan B. Anthony dollars were produced overall, only a tiny fraction of the 1980 S coins were actually circulated. Many were lost, melted down, or stored in mint sets, making surviving circulated examples exceptionally scarce. Some experts estimate that fewer than a few dozen coins like this one exist today in the open market. That scarcity explains why collectors are willing to pay astonishing sums to add one to their collection. Another factor that drives value is provenance. Coins with a clear history, properly authenticated and documented, can command even higher prices. A 1980 S Anthony dollar that has been verified as a true circulated coin from San Francisco, even with heavy wear, can be far more desirable than a similar-looking coin with uncertain origins. Auction records show that circulated 1980 S Anthony dollars with verified minting features have reached $130,000 to $170,000, depending on rarity, era presence, and buyer interest. Beyond the numbers, this coin represents history. It tells the story of the first U.S. circulating coin to honor a real woman. It survived decades of use, touching countless hands, passing through cash registers, wallet, and pockets, and still remains recognizable today. For collector, investors, and history enthusiasts, it's not just a coin, it's a tangible piece of America's story. If you happen to have a Susan B. Anthony dollar in your collection, especially a 1980 S, it's worth examining carefully. Look at the mint mark. Study the date and inspect the coin for unusual features like double letters, weak strikes, or off-center impressions. Even a heavily circulated coin could hide a once an A, lifetime treasure worth over $150,000. So the next time you come across an Anthony dollar, don't dismiss it as ordinary. This 1980 Susan B. Anthony dollar shows that even worn, heavily used coins can hold incredible value. With careful attention, you could uncover a piece of history that combines rarity, story, and potentially life-changing collector value, a coin that proves extraordinary coins sometimes hide in plain sight.